Hi and welcome to Scholarly.2018. Now we're going to do a video on polynomials. This will be a three-part video. We just want to get you affiliated with the structure of polynomials and what they are. So that will be a short video. Part 2 will be evaluating polynomials, and then part 3 is going to be simplifying polynomials and see how things move around and how you can manipulate the expression to your advantage. And that's pretty much what math is all about, is manipulating the expressions to something easy you can work with. And we'll explain that in part 3 of our videos. So let's get started with this. Polynomials. All right, we're going to go over the structure of polynomials and basically what they are. Polynomials, just in simplest terms, means many terms. All right, and we're going to get to what a term is. But first, we have to discuss what makes up the term. So we have a variable here. Okay, x is our variable in the polynomial, and the original equation reads 4x to the 4th power of exponent 4 plus 6x squared plus 4x with no exponent. There is an exponent. We'll get into that later. Minus 19, which no variable and no exponent. However, as I said, we can manipulate terms to our advantage, and we'll discuss how 19 also has an exponent and a variable of x. All right. So first off, we're gonna start with our x is our variable, right? And we can see that our x propagates through the entire expression. All right, and we'll talk about the relationships that each of these have going forward. The number in front of the x, all right, is what's called our coefficient. So in this case, it's 4x. This case is the coefficient is 4. In this case, it's 6. In this case, it's 4. All right, and of course, we have our exponents to the 4th power, to the 2nd power. This would be to the 1, and then if we put an x here, all right, we can add that and make that a 0. Any number to the power of 0, all right, equals 1. All right, so this would read 19 times any number to the power of 0. So it would read 19 times 1, right? And then you're just going to have 19. So we leave this off just to make it easier. But that's an example of how we can manipulate the powers. And also this 4x, x to the 1st power just equals x. All right. In our next video, we're going to get into evaluating. So we're going to substitute a number for x and move forward and calculate that into our expression. All right. So quick note: an expression. I keep saying expression. An expression is different from an equation because an equation has an equal sign. If there's no equal sign here, it's just an expression. We're just expressing ourselves. If we have an equation, that means it equals something. Okay, that's a quick note. Good to know when you're reading any math problems or anything like that in your school or your class. You want to know exactly what they're talking about. Sometimes, you can get the math right, but if it's not focused in the right direction, you'll end up getting the answer wrong. Okay. So we have our coefficient and we have our variable and we have our exponent. I didn't list exponent here because it's self-explanatory. The exponent's there. All of these together, all right, the coefficient, the variable, and the exponent is how we get a term. And we have many of these, right? That's what a polynomial is, many terms. All right, now this, I'm going to let you know now, and we'll go for our, in our part 3 of our video, you'll see that that's in its simplest form. The 4x4, 6x squared, 4x minus 19 is all in its simplest form. Now, before we get into the next video, and we'll roll right into it, I want to explain that when you are evaluating or simplifying, you must keep that sign. All right, the sign in front of the coefficient is the sign that relates to that coefficient. All right, so if this has been a negative, we're going to keep that a negative 4x. Okay, right here, same thing. We're going to keep that sign, positive 6x squared. Okay, and same thing here. Obviously, we have a positive out here in the front, unless otherwise denoted that it's negative. All right, so that's our video. Stay tuned for part 2. where we evaluate the expression and substitute for x. Thanks for watching Scholarly.2018.